Number 64 Sloane Street, London, Monday, 22nd April, 1811. Conceive, if you will, of the Theatre Royal, Covent Garden, on an evening such as this, the celebrated Mrs. Siddons being rumoured to appear after too many months' absence from the stage, the play Macbeth, with all the hideous power of Shakespeare's verse and Sarah Siddons's art, and the polite world of London brawling in the midst of Bow Street in an effort to reach its place in the box before the curtains should rise. Such a welter of chairmen, link boys, fashionable carriages, street sweeps, porters and coachmen, such oaths blasted into the ears of delicately nurtured females, carried hurriedly to the paving, lest their satin slippers should be soiled in the horse's dung. Such an array of silks and muslins, turbans and feathers, embroidered shawls and jewelled flounces, the scent of 1,000 flowers on the air, the odour of tobacco and ripe oranges, and fish from the markets in Covent Garden, the great theatre's windows thrown open against the warmth of the spring night, and the heat of too many bodies filling the vast hall, the flickering of wax candles, a fortune's worth thrown up into the gleaming chandeliers, the rising pitch of conversation, the high screech of a woman's laughter, the impropriety of a chance remark, the hand of a gentleman resting where it should not, on the person of his lady, all this, like a prodigal feast, spread out for my delectation. The vague shadow, too, of a Bow Street runner, lounging in the doorway of the magistrate's offices opposite, which I chanced to glimpse as Brother Henry swept me to the theatre door, lounging like an accusation as he surveyed the Fashionable Great, whose sins and peccadilloes only he may be privileged to know. It is a scene hardly out of the ordinary way for the majority of the ton, that select company of wealthy and well-born who rule what is commonly called society. But for a lady in the midst of her 35th year, denied a proper come-out, or a breathless schoolgirl's first season, a shabby genteel lady long since on the shelf and at her last prayers, it must be deemed a high treat. Add that I am a hardened enthusiast of the great Sarah Siddons, and have been disappointed before in my hopes of seeing her tread the boards, and you will apprehend with what pleasurable anticipation I met the curtain's rise. Note: in a letter to her sister Cassandra, dated April 25th, 1811, Jane states that Henry gave up their tickets for this performance, and that she was unable to see Mrs. Siddons. A curious prevarication in light of this text. End note. "Jane," Eliza murmured behind her fan as the Theatre Royal fell silent, "there is Lord Moira, Henry's particular friend, and an intimate of the Prince Regent. Next to his box you will recognize Lord Castlereagh, I am sure. Was there ever anything so elegant as his lady's dress? It is as nothing, however, to the costume of the creature seated to our left, the extraordinarily handsome woman with the flashing dark eyes and the black curls. That is the great Harriet Wilson, my dear, the most celebrated impure in London, with her sisters and intimate friends. Do not observe her openly, I beg. Such gentlemen as have had her in keeping. I am sure our Harriet might bring down the government were she merely to speak too freely among her intimates. They do say that even Wellington—" The pressure of Henry's hand upon his wife's arm silenced Eliza, and I was allowed to disregard the men of government equally with the demi-mondaine in her rubies and paint, and sit in breathless apprehension as a cabal of witches plotted their ageless doom.